Hey Central Mississippi, this is Brent Bailey, your Public Service Commissioner, welcoming you from the Neshoba County Fairgrounds. It's Wednesday. What's typically going on Wednesday at the Neshoba County Fair, right in the middle of the week? Political speaking. Unfortunately, because of the coronavirus and the public health emergency surrounding that, looks like we're not going to be talking to the crowds and the participants in the Neshoba County Fair. Obviously, you see the podium we talk behind is not here. So we're going to have a change of pace, and we're just going to have a good conversation, sit down, and talk with you one-on-one. So I guess this year's speech, not any good. But I tell you what, when I stood up here last year, a year ago, and talked about what my vision was for Central District Public Service Commission and things I wanted to do for you at the Public Service Commission, I was ready to come back and report to you what we had achieved thus far and what our plans were for the next 3 years. I'm excited y'all gave me the opportunity to be your Public Service Commissioner and to represent you in the 22 counties in the Central District. We have a whole lot going on, and throughout the next few minutes, I want to share with you our ideas, our actions, our activities, our actions, what we've done to help protect you as consumers. And we'll be doing that from a couple different scenes here at the Neshoba County Fair. So stick with us. We'll show you around a little bit, and we'll tell you what's going on at the Public Service Commission. So here we are at the racetrack and at the grandstand. And every afternoon during the Neshoba County Fair, this would be the scene of horse races, thoroughbreds, carriage races, even mule races. And they'll be speeding around the track at breathtaking speeds as we up here in the stands root for them, and in some cases do a little side bet on who's going to come out in front. But I tell you what we're doing at the Public Service Commission to ensure consumers come out in front, we're doing everything we can to bring broadband to those underserved, unserved, rural areas of the state. When the COVID came around, it certainly put an emphasis on distance learning, telemedicine, and the challenges of small business and economic development. Well, what we've done in working with the legislature, the public utility staff, just this week we announced nearly 20 projects, $66 million, over $150 million total, to get high-speed broadband internet services to many parts of the state. And that's just the beginning. Even later this year, there's going to be more opportunities through the Rural Development Opportunity Fund. Potentially $940 million come to the state of Mississippi to get broadband to rural areas. So there's a lot we've done and going to continue to do. You're going to have the biggest advocates for you at the Public Service Commission for broadband extension. It's not the end of everything. It's going to take time, it's going to take planning, and we're going to eventually get there, and we're going to ask you to be patient as consumers. But if you ever do have a question on this, give us a call. We want to be there to represent you and help you and serve you. So the empty field I have behind me here would typically be the midway in the Neshoba County Fair. You got rides, foods, games, a lot of blinking lights. This is where the kids come up and ask mom and dad for about 20 bucks. We'll see how long that lasts out here. But to power those rides, to get those lights blinking, those horns blaring, those bells whistling, you got to have power, reliable, resilient power, affordable power. And at the Public Service Commission, that's one of the things we're charged to do. We were there to make sure you were getting the power you deserve, you need, that essential service at a rate that's affordable, that's just, and accessible. So Mississippi is blessed with a lot of natural resources and a lot of energy resources. And that's one of the great things about the state. We have a lot to choose from. But however, we got to make sure as representative consumers, as commissioners, we're making the right choice for you for the long term. Whether it's natural gas, whether it's solar, whether it's hydro, whether it's coal, whether it's nuclear. We got to be sure that the power you're receiving is at the most affordable rate possible. We got to make sure the transmission delivery system is not going to fail, that we're continuing to invest in that to ensure that it's reliable as well as resilient. So as your commissioner, I'm ready to work with our utility partners as well as a full range of stakeholders to determine for the long term what is in the best interest of our residential, consumer, and industrial customers. Because Mississippi, like I said, while we are blessed by a wide range of resources, we still got to make sure we're making prudent decisions going forward. And through our integrated resource planning process, we're going to do just that. We're going to have stakeholders at the table. We're going to have industrial folks at the table. We're going to have our utility partners at the table, as well as our public utility staff and the commission staff. We're going to make sure we're making the right decisions for you for the long-term investments in Mississippi. Economic development is so important, and that's going to be key to the long-term vision of this state. So here we are on the front porch at cabin number 1. It's iconic because everybody knows the Snoopy painting on the side as you walk in the front gate. So why are we sitting out on the front porch? Well, number 1, it's a pastime. It's a tradition at the Shelby County Fair to sit out on your front porch, visit with the neighbors that go by. It's how you get to know people. But I tell you what, as a consumer, as a homeowner, as a, a family, the last place you want to wind up is on the front porch. And at the Public Service Commission this year, we took some steps to make sure that didn't happen during the COVID crisis. So early this year in the spring, we put a moratorium on disconnects for non-payment because we recognized the challenges that homeowners were having as we're having layoffs, as people were going from school, and during our early part of our shutdown, and we wanted to make sure consumers were protected. However, that moratorium has been discontinued. But I want to thank our utility partners out there who have continued on with their programs to make sure consumers are not disconnected. They've extended the payback periods. They created new payment options, and they've even internally, voluntarily, not continued disconnections for repayment and make sure they're working with consumers. And it's just one of the things we're doing at the Public Service Commission to ensure you as a ratepayer, as a homeowner, as a renter, as a consumer, as a user of utilities, have access to those essential services. So you're not stuck out on the porch on the summertime. So you're not without heat during the winter. So you're not without water in the time of a public pandemic. So thank you for everything. Again, we appreciate the opportunity to represent you. If you have any problems at the Public Service Commission, give us a call. Better yet, come join me on the front porch. So remember, if you have anything we can help with at the Public Service Commission, feel free to call my office, send us an email, send me a text, write us a letter. There's so many ways you can get in touch with us as a consumer, as a ratepayer, as a user of utilities. We're there for you, and we always want to be there for you.